Emily Judice here with me, and I am so excited for the conversation we're about to have. Emily is a sweet friend of mine, an amazing coach, and she has been inspiring me so much to create the life I want on the weekends, to not just live for the weekend, but to build my future on it and our future, Brad and I and our family. So, Emily, I'm so excited to have you here. I could introduce you, but I don't think I would do it justice. Will you introduce yourself to everyone?
Yes, absolutely. Hello, everybody. I'm so excited to be here. Me and
Yay!
Jordan met in person officially probably like 6 months ago
Yeah.
and like became fast friends. And I'm just so thankful that you invited me and that I get to have
Yeah.
you on my life. So my name's Emily Judice. I am a certified nutrition coach. I specialize in fat loss. And I'm also a mindset mentor. So I am married for 12 years. I'm a mom to 4 kids, ages 10 to 1. We have 3 boys and a girl. We live in Houston, Texas. And, I'm truly just inspiring women to see that they're worth it, to believe in themselves, to take control of their life and
Yeah.
not play the victim and not play a martyr in your life and understand that you really are in charge of creating the life that you want to live. And really just inspiring people to do that. And I really do it through like a lens of health and fitness and
Mhm.
wellness. Um, but truly total body wellness,
Yeah.
mind, body, and spirit.
I love it. And we were talking before we started recording about how it can't be compartmentalized, right? So, like, mental health matters, your physical health matters, your spiritual health matters, and it all is kind of infinity symbol woven together. So, how did this journey come to be for you? Because I know that many people listening can relate as well, maybe to like the before side where you're at versus
Totally.
now where you're
Totally.
at. So, can you share a little bit more about that?
Yeah. So, my kids are a little bit more spread out. Like my first 2 boys and my second 2 children, there's like a 4+ year gap, there. And so when I had my first 2 kids, like I'm unrecognizable from who I used to
Mm.
be. Um,
Yeah.
I, ate fast food every single day. I never identified as like someone who would work out like on a
Mm.
regular basis. I did not like exercise. I would join a gym or join a bar studio. I would go like for 2 weeks, and then I would cancel my membership or freeze my membership because I just couldn't be consistent. I was like, I can't wake up early. I can't do this. Like I
Mm.
just couldn't. I felt like I couldn't do anything um consistently when it
Wow.
came to health. I was doing the fad diets to try to lose weight. I was a solid 20 to 25 pounds heavier than I am now.
Wow.
And I was in my early 20s. Like I was 24 when I had my first child, 22 when I got married. So this is,
Wow.
in my early 20s when, you think you have this like fast metabolism and like you can just eat whatever you want. But no, I mean, I graduated college. I think I gained 20 pounds and got married, had the babies, like just had unhealthy pregnancies as far as gained more weight than I should have, ate whatever I wanted, used
Yeah.
that as an excuse to, let myself off the hook, like with everything
Yeah.
when it comes to health. Um, and so we actually moved from Louisiana to Texas
Okay.
right after I had my third baby, my daughter. And so she was 4 months old when we moved. And I had just kind of like decided that I wanted to try and lose the baby weight. I was ready to get it off. And, I had seen this program like on Instagram or whatever that I was going to try, and I was like, okay, sure, I'll try. So my whole journey just started with like the nutrition side where it was like
Mm.
get healthy with the eating the right thing. So I learned like what a balanced meal looks like,
Yeah.
how to count macros, like how I should be doing weight training over cardio and like all these things, and my body started to change. And
Yeah.
that really was like the first step. But through all of that, I really gained this passion for health and fitness and wellness and like just learning how to take care of your body from a food standpoint, from a movement standpoint.
Yeah.
And whenever I did that, I just had this passion and people were asking me what I was doing. So I was like, okay, maybe I should like become a coach. At this
Mm.
point, I was staying home with our kids and I wasn't doing anything after we moved here. So I went through the process of getting certified in nutrition and started coaching. And this kind of just catapulted me into the business that I run now, but it's grown so much over the last
Yeah.
4.5 years. And through that process, I really had to learn how to go to therapy for the first time in my life because, my nervous system was so dysregulated, so overwhelmed. I was
Yeah.
trying to run this business. I didn't know how to delegate. I didn't know how to like be a mom, to my 4 kids or 3 kids at the time and be this business owner. I was trying to
Yeah.
learn balance. And so I discovered, meditation and breath work and like the whole like masculine versus feminine energy, and
Yeah.
nervous system regulation was a huge part, and
Yeah.
just setting boundaries in my life. And that journey for me really started probably a year and a half ago. And over the
Yes.
year and a half, I have, invested in myself so much in learning the right mindset to have, invested in business mentors and life mentors and coaching so that I can know that there's more to life than being overwhelmed, hot mess express,
Yes.
mom life, mommy wine culture. Like, because
Yes. It's like,
just not cool. Like
it's,
people think that's cool. And it felt weird to like not be a part of that. But like I had to learn that there is so much more to life than that.
well, and it's funny you say that because we don't really drink. And so like I remember like I can say the last time I was like drunk was like right before Brad and I met, and I was like 29, and I was upset over the boy before I met Brad, and now I'm like whatever to that guy, right? And
Yeah.
so but I look back on it and I'm with you, like being a hot mess is not cute.
No, it's not.
And
Who can be the busiest, like the busiest badge. And like, it is so cringe. Like that's who I was.
yes, oh
Like
oh
when I first started my business, probably the first 2 years of my business, it was like I was busier than everyone else. I
yeah.
had more going on than everyone else. I was wearing this busy badge with so much honor. And I'm like, ugh, it's so
Right.
gross to think back to that person. And, I just
Yes.
had to realize, through a lot of like mentoring from my mentors and like therapy and like coaching and reading and podcasts and paying for programs and like investing in myself, that like that's not cute. There's so much
Right.
more to life than that. And that is so normalized. Like that lifestyle is so normalized where it's like
Yeah.
you're complaining in the carpool, in the Mother's Day out pickup line about like your husband, and you're complaining about how tired you are and complaining about how busy you are. And like it's just not a cute look.
No.
So really in the last year and a half, I've made this like huge transformation. It's like first it started with my body,
Yeah.
the food, the health, the nutrition, the working out. And now like I completely identify, like if you look at my Instagram page, you're like, oh, she like works out, like she lifts
Yeah.
gym. I'm in the gym, like the squat racks, like I love to lift heavy weights. That's like a huge part of my identity now. And I don't feel deprived now whenever I choose the salad over the burger and fries. Like that is not a sacrifice for me,
Yeah.
because being healthy is so much easier than being unhealthy. And I
Yeah.
now know that looking back at my life, like, I mean, I was counting down the minutes whenever my older boys were little. I call them my bigs. So when my bigs
Yeah.
were little, like I was counting down the minutes to bedtime every day. I was, hung over on the weekends and like laying on the couch being like, please just play by yourself. Like, I'm just so ready for nap time. And that is just not, that's not it.
Yeah.
That ain't it.
Well, no, and I agree. And like, we are like planning to start our family and we're older having kids. And truthfully, like, that narrative hurt me even wanting to become a mom. Not yours, but
Yeah.
other people that I have followed and that have posted, like, oh, they're sick again. And like, oh my gosh, this is so terrible. And like, how are we shuttling all these kids here and there? I'm like, you chose this, sister,
Yeah.
And so,
Choose the way you think about it. And like,
yeah,
that is what is so, I mean, the difference in my house these days, like just at dinner time, like when we're cooking in the kitchen, like the difference in my patience level, my, not feeling overwhelmed, not snapping at my kids, like on the way to school at 7:15 in the morning, the
yeah.
carpool line, because my 8-year-old, who always is the one, always forgets his shoes and can't his backpack or whatever it is. And that used to send me over the edge, like yelling, snapping at my kids. And
Yeah.
now, because of the person I am, because of the way that I've invested in myself, I'm like just so much more chill. Like,
Yeah.
you spill a smoothie in the brand new car, like it's okay.
We'll
Like
figure it
life's
out.
fine, we figure it out.
Yes.
I just used to
Oh,
not live that life. And so really I have truly done like a 180. What is it? 180,
Yeah.
360.
I know. I was like, I think it's a one. No, I know.
Yeah.
It's yeah.
Totally a different person now. And, I I have actually recently kind of started this journey of like not drinking alcohol. So I'm kind of at the stage where I'm like not making any promises. I'm just like,
Yeah.
right now I'm not drinking, but every week is like a new week, and I'm like, I can choose to, or I can choose not to. I think in the last 6 months, I've maybe had like 5 cocktails,
Yeah.
um, and it just doesn't serve me.
That's
And
how we are
it just
100%.
doesn't. You don't need that to have fun. Like anybody listening, you don't need alcohol to have fun. You
Yeah.
don't need alcohol to feel more social. No one thinks you're weird. Like I go out with all my friends all the time, and like I'm at dinner or I'm at someone's house, and like I just drink like club soda and lime juice or
Yeah.
whatever, or water, and like you can have so much fun without it, and you can feel freaking fantastic the next day. And
Yeah.
that's a huge reason why I'm like one of those people that would drink like 1 or 2 glasses of wine and be like in bed with a headache the entire next day. And I
Yeah.
just live my life like that. My goals are so big. I need to be like sharp and on, on like all the
Yeah.
time.
Oh no, it was funny. We were just on a little getaway for 3 nights, my husband and I, and like I'd go to dinner and they'd bring the wine list. I'm like, I'm good. And then like one night I was like, I've never had an espresso martini. I've always wanted to try one. I was like, oh, I want that. And then I'm like, oh, like it's just so funny. Like I always say like adulting. My mom's like, you're 33. You've been an adult for a while. But I'm like, I don't want the caffeine or even decaf. I'm like, I don't know. And I just don't want to risk feeling like crap tomorrow. Like
No, like
it is so crazy
thinking
how it
back to
changes.
that feeling. I was thinking about this earlier yesterday or earlier today. I can't even remember, like just like how bad feeling hungover feels. And I'm like,
Yes.
absolutely not. Like, absolutely not. Like, we are just not living our life like that anymore.
No, even at my friend's wedding reception the other night, I like took a Sprite and they had extra champagne glasses and I just poured my Sprite into it.
Yeah,
And I could have done tonic or whatever. And I told Brad, I said, it's more about the fun glass. And
absolutely.
and he's like, literally, yeah.
We were at a friend's party recently, and for her birthday, and it was at their house, and they had like a whole like bar set up, and I was like, oh, what am I gonna fix myself? And they had like some, I don't know, random sparkling thing. I was like, I'm just gonna put in a wine glass and like put a lime in it. And I just felt so fancy holding the wine
It's
glass.
a
And this is what it's about. Like,
yeah, it's a
yeah, I went
feminine fun
home.
energy.
Yeah, fun energy. I went home. I was sleep. We obviously were up later than normal. I'm like a 8 to 9 p.m. girly. Like I'm sleeping by that time because I like to wake up early. Jordan knows this about me.
Yes, we are not the same, but I love it
I'm
for you.
intense in that. I can't wait till y'all have kids and you change into me.
I will.
But
Yeah.
I was up late, obviously, but I slept great because I didn't drink. I woke up
Yeah.
the next morning feeling fresh. I got so much accomplished on Sunday, and I'm like, yeah, I just don't need that like 2 hours of like fun air quotes um
Right.
to feel bad the next day. And so, anyways, that's kind of a tangent, but
It's
I have it's kind
wild.
of, and it's crazy, like, since I've started this, and, like, this isn't even, like, a thing where I'm like, "Oh, this is popular, I'm gonna try it," but it's, like, all of a sudden since I started doing it, I'm like, "Oh, wait, this is a thing." It's, like, the whole
Right.
sober curious movement. It's, like, all over TikTok, all these, like, little Gen Z, is that what they are? Gen Z?
I
Gen
think so, like, which I'm like, good for them. Like,
Yes!
I
I'm
made
so
so
proud
many
of you.
terrible mistakes
Yeah.
before I was like, gosh.
Yeah.
I used to be, I mean, Brad knows this obviously. I was like wild in college. Like I
Yeah.
was raised like private school. I was like, I can drink. Like this is so fun. And
Yeah.
my mom and dad used to always say like nothing good happens after midnight. And I'm like that and nothing good happens like when I'm drinking. Like I
Yeah.
was just like, I you know what it is like, well, and this is hindsight, right? Is I wasn't as comfortable with myself as I am now to know that
Yeah.
like I'm outgoing and I'm fun
That's it. That's it, Jordan. That's it.
and when it clicks, I'm like, oh, I literally don't need this. In
Yeah,
fact,
like,
it takes me to from a 10 personality to 100, and we don't want that, you
yeah,
know?
and, like, my husband, we're from South Louisiana, like, the culture is very much, like, to drink, and, like,
Yeah.
well, I'll preface this, I am not judging anybody who
Yeah.
chooses to drink on a daily basis. This is totally a personal choice. And my husband, I remember, like, on New Year's Eve was like, "You're kinda turning into a hermit, like, why don't you, like, come out on the porch, like, have a glass of champagne, like, do something, have some fun?" And I was like, But that's what people don't get. Like, that's not fun to me.
Yeah, and like I'm having fun right now, you know?
In my bed reading this book after taking my good hot bath, like listening to my breath work thing. Like, I'm like, that's literally fun to me. Like, taking care of myself
Yeah.
is fun. And it's this whole like getting away from the culture of like, oh, I have to drink because I'm stressed. It's literally like, no, you're stressed because you drink.
Yeah. Or and it's like what else is causing you stress that you're not taking care of your
And dealing
taking
with. It's like
yeah.
you just push these feelings under the rug and mask them with a glass of wine instead of just feeling the hard feelings, navigating through the feelings and getting on the other side. And what this does is it expands your capacity
Yeah.
to to manage your feelings better. And that's like a huge thing that I'm always telling my clients is like, guys, like life is 50-50. Like, you're not supposed to feel good all the time.
Yeah.
If you did not have bad days, you wouldn't even know what a good day looked like. Like, if there was no such
Oh,
thing as anger, there would be no such thing as joy. And so we have
yeah.
to have both. And it's not about like, always feeling pleasure and always avoiding pain and like taking the path of least resistance. Like, the mental discomfort is how you evolve and grow.
Yeah, that's what I've been like thinking about so much lately is like you have a choice, like just kind of like the like balance right now. And so it's like what choice are you going to make? Because you it could go either way. And like it's so interesting because your journey is different than mine in the fact that like I'm getting healthier to get pregnant. So it's
Yeah,
like such a different ball
it is.
game, where it's flipped. And like I started my therapy journey when I was 27 and I didn't know it at the time, but I was actually so anxious that I was like not fun to be around for my
Mhm.
family. My mom would like they still were around me, but my mom was like, there's just like something's off.
Yeah.
And so went to therapy, kind of walked through the mud, trudged through the mud, I say, and then did my therapist is actually going to be on the podcast soon, but it was hilarious. I remember the first meeting with her, I was like, okay, because I'm just like, let's get her done. I'm like,
Yeah.
how many sessions do you think we need until I'll be better? Because I just don't have the time, but I'll put the time. Like, I was like, is it 4? Is it 6? And
Yeah.
she was like, I would probably say 18 months to 2 years. And I was like, okay. And then I left and I was like, I'm not going back. And so I did go back. And now she's been my therapist. This year will be 6 years.
Amazing.
And isn't that crazy? And so I got better,
Yeah.
like and I'm not, I always say I won't be healed this side of heaven. And like, I don't say like I suffer from anxiety, I fight anxiety.
Yeah.
And so I had to like go on the front end of like, I had to kind of have the breakdown and be like,
Yeah.
okay, if I want to steward a good relationship one day, be a good mom one day, do this, like I have to get the help on the front end to then now, as I feel like I was telling my mom, I was like, it feels like in the last like 6 months or year, like a fog was lifted. And I'm like, oh my gosh, now I can live the life I've always dreamed. I had to like do some freaking hard work,
Yeah.
which you're doing the hard work on the flip side with a husband, with kids, with a business, so we're like in different
Yeah.
ball games of it, but it's like it's so true. And then you really do get to decide like the ball, you know what, like nothing, indecision makes me freaking crazy, but I understand people have trouble deciding. I'm like, I get that. And then the other thing is like that victim mentality that you talk about. I mean, everyone talks about, but you too talking about it, like we literally get to choose. And I am like always empathetic because like there's things in my past I wish I could change. There's things in other people's like past and present. And it's like, what a gift that you can wake up and choose despite your circumstances to at least make one decision better.
Yeah.
Like you're not sitting here saying like, throw out all your plastic and throw out your alcohol and no more gummy bears. It's like, what's like one step you can make today? You
And
know?
that's the problem with people getting healthy is they think that they have to make a 180 in like a
Yeah.
week.
Yeah.
Did y'all just hear me saying this? This is 4.5 years. Is this my
Yeah.
journey? 4.5 years, and even like the alcohol thing has taken 4.5 years. Whenever I started the program that I'm a coach for now, and like started eating healthier and like working out and all of that, I learned about alcohol and was like, oh, when you drink, your body metabolizes the alcohol for 12 hours while you're
Right.
sleeping instead of burning
Your
fat.
fat.
Like
Yeah.
if I'm drinking every day, then like I'm basically not burning fat. So that is when I was like, okay, I'll go from drinking 7 days a week because I was
Yeah.
having a glass of wine or a beer
Wine.
7 days a week to just drinking on the weekends. And so then I would have like 2 to 3 drinks, maybe like Friday and Saturday.
Yeah.
And that was like the first year. The second year, that kind of turned into like maybe the weekends I would only drink one of the nights. Like maybe I would just
Yeah.
have drinks one of the nights. And then like in year 3, it was kind of like there would be whole weeks where I would go by and I wouldn't have a drink. And then it was like, maybe 2 weekends out of the month if we went to dinner or something, plus like social occasions.
Yeah.
Really in the last year, it's been just social occasions. And in the last 6 months, there's been even social occasions where I've chosen not to drink. And it's just interesting, like it wasn't this like 180
One
overnight.
day. Yeah.
4.5 years in the making. Same thing with my health, my food. If I look at what I ate the first year, whenever I was getting healthy versus what I eat now, I'm like very different.
Yeah, and it's like
Different.
you had to become like the one person who was like 10% healthier to then be the person that's 90% healthier and
It's
better.
like a 1 to 2 degree shift that you need. Like, but it will literally land you in a completely different place if you just make it. And
Yeah.
that is what I'm really trying to get across to my clients, to people that are interested in getting healthier. They want to lose weight, is like when they tell me like what they eat in a day or like what their workout routine looks like, I'm like, I can pinpoint the problems. And if I told you to change 2 things, like your life would look completely different.
Yeah, and I think that's the other reminder too, because I know like a lot of women listening are business owners or they're growing in their career, right? Is like it doesn't, like I know you're like you talking to them, like their family is important to them, their friends, their spouse relationships, their little ones. But like if it starts from the health and everything trickles down, like it can feel easy, right? Like you're noticing that.
So easy. I had this revelation this past week. I go to like Lifetime Fitness is where I
Yes.
work out,
Yes,
and
we do
they
too.
have childcare. It's like the best thing ever. Telling me this, yes.
Yeah.
You're
I
telling me that.
want to have a baby sooner because of
So
being able to put it there. Brad's like, "Oh, this is a move."
yeah, so I joined Lifetime really right around the time I started working out. And I've used it because I use the childcare. It's so legit. And so I now have a fourth baby. I have an 18-month-old, or
Ooh,
he's 19 months now. And so that is who I use it for now. But like I used it for my daughter when we first moved here. And I will work there. Like I will literally go work out at the gym at 5 o'clock in the morning so that when I come back at like 9 or 10, I can use the full two and a half
so
hours
good.
there to work. It's like $30 or $40 a month per kid, and you get 2.5 hours a day of childcare. I mean, that's like free.
It's
It's
work
free.
it's working smarter,
Yeah.
you know?
Anyways, I was at Lifetime last week, sitting there working, just like looking around and thinking, like how easy my life felt. I was like, I'm at the gym. I feel amazing. Like I don't wake up ever feeling bad, ever. Like I have not been sick, knock on wood, in like a year. Like I
Wow.
feel amazing. Have so much energy when I wake up in the morning. I sleep great. I have such a healed relationship with food. I eat so much food and I don't worry what it's going to do to my body. And like that is so easy. Like the life is so easy compared to where I used to be. And I was like, God, this is kind of a polarizing topic. Like I'm going to get some shit for
Yeah.
if I go on social media and say that being healthy is easy, people are going to look at me like I'm crazy, but I'm like, it really is. Like, maybe not every part of getting here was easy. Like,
Yeah.
I had to put in the work, but like, that's what people don't understand, is that the happiness and the joy and the freedom that you desire is not going to happen when you get to your weight loss goal. It happens
Yeah.
in the process as you get there. It happens when you prove to yourself that you can follow through on the commitments, that you can
Yeah.
make promises and keep them to yourself. That is where the freedom is. And that is where, like um I have this new challenge that you did, which we can talk.
Yes, yes, I'm excited.
Yeah, so I started this challenge called the Weekenders Challenge. It's a 3-day challenge And it's funny because like when I first started doing it, I'm like, oh, people probably think like they're a weekender. Like, yeah, I mean, I live for the weekend. I'm a weekender. And I'm like, no, 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 that's not what
Yeah, this is not what you think it is.
it essentially came up because all of my clients, I mean, I would say like 90% of them will do great Monday through Thursday. And then when Friday, Saturday, Sunday come, they just like forget what they're doing and
Yeah.
they fall off. And that's why they can't reach their goals ultimately. And so it's this challenge of like becoming a weekender and realizing that the decisions you make and really using the weekend to create the life you want instead of using the weekend to escape the life that you have
Mm-mm.
is how you get your dream life, because so many people go into the weekend and think that means they deserve a treat, they should reward. Actually, Jordan, you inspired me so much. You say you
I
woke up
know.
in October and you were like, yeah, like I on my health journey, you're like, I had to like tell myself like not every meal is a party, like not every
No.
needs to be a party. You were
And
like,
like,
I work so hard all day.
yeah, I work, and
And then you were like, and then I'd be like, I deserve DoorDash. And Brad was like, everybody
Brad's
works.
like, everybody freaking works. Like, he's like, I don't know why.
You
There's so
think
many things he
work
thinks I'm the only person. He says I think I'm the only person, like, just even like not making light of trafficking when I say this, but I'm always like my anxiety sometimes around safety, and I'm like, I don't know, I don't want to be there without you. Like, what if I got kidnapped or something? He's like, you think so highly of yourself, and so like with food and with that. But truly, I would have like a long day of work, which everyone does,
Mhm.
and other people are raising children, they're taking care of loved ones who might be sick, and like everyone has something going on, and I'd be like, I deserve something. What should I get?
Yeah.
And it's
Food
like
wise.
literally nothing. Like
Yeah.
you actually deserve to feel your best and to stick to your plan, or
Yeah.
like plan for something down the road, but like I just didn't even realize what like a caloric and financial like stressor it was, because I thought I was rewarding myself
Yeah.
after hard work, and it's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. Brooke Castillo, who's the life coach school, she owns Life
Yeah.
School, says your reward for doing a good job is you did a good job. Like, good job. You did a good job. Like, you're supposed to do a good job. Like, that's your,
Yes.
and so, and, you know, just like, just the weekenders challenge is like it's this 3-day challenge. Like, to give you like a quick like rundown, it's
Yeah,
literally
tell
like a
them.
30-minute training, like Friday morning, Saturday morning, Sunday morning. It's on the weekend on purpose because it's a challenge. It's supposed to challenge you to do things differently on your weekend. And it's live, like training and coaching from me, a lot of mindset stuff. We, you know,
Yeah.
talk about the stories that you tell yourself and like the way we're conditioned and the feelings we're chasing on the weekends, that sense of stress relief after a long week, that sense of joy, that sense of reward, satisfaction, pleasure, and how we're looking in the wrong areas to
Yeah.
gain those feelings. Because what ends up happening is like those things that you go to, that glass of wine maybe gives you a little pleasure in that very moment,
Yeah.
but like long term, it doesn't give you pleasure. So it's really ignoring those instant gratification things in order for like long term gratification,
Hmm.
long term pleasure, and reaching your goals and proving to yourself that like
Oh,
I actually can do this a different way than everybody else does in on the weekend. That is how you build confidence, and confidence creates momentum in your life, and that momentum is what gives you the results you want.
yeah, and it's just like even making the small changes, and I highly recommend the challenge, and even during it, and the timing's perfect because it's like you can go depending on, you know, if you're going to church or whatnot, you can go attend on Sunday or you can catch the replay. Like
Yeah.
it's perfect. And just even the little shifts I made during it, because I mean I know you and I know some of what you teach, but like that day it was like, what else can we do today that's going to make our life so much easier? And it's like we purged a bunch of stuff in the house,
Yeah.
which then turned into this huge organizing project, which has been phenomenal to like get our just house feeling even better. And it's like we don't want to feel like, you talk about like escaping your life on the
Yeah.
weekends. It's like, I love my life. I actually want to enjoy it more. So what do I have to do? And
Yeah.
then same thing, you know, it trickled down into our environment where it's like, I'm always excited for like I'm about to head to Charlotte for work. Then I'm heading back to Florida to see family and work. And then we're going to Savannah for Brad's birthday. And then like crazy town.
Yeah.
And I want to freaking enjoy our house. And I don't because I'm always off to the next. And so it really trickled down into being like, how, if you're going to enjoy your week and weekend, let's enjoy the space you're in, even if
Yeah.
you're
Oh,
bebopping
environment is
around.
so important. And I mean, it's little things like I want you like if you're listening to this, like start making a list of things that like bother you. It's like your ick list,
Yes.
like that, like or like, ugh, like this just really drives me nuts. I mean, it could be your disorganized underwear drawer.
Yeah.
That's what you do on the weekends because you have more time. And listen, like for all you people listening, they're like, I don't have time on weekends. I have 4 kids too. Don't forget, I have 4 kids. You can carve out the time. It might just mean you don't watch 5 episodes of Netflix until midnight, you know?
Yes.
Spend 20 minutes organizing your underwear drawer because that is going to make you feel better Monday through Friday every time you open the drawer and you can breathe a sigh of relief. And that is like the mental space that you create in your brain by just creating your life on the weekend. It means grocery shopping on the weekend and meal planning on the weekend so that you
Yeah.
have a plan for the week whenever you have, you know, 3 different sporting activities with your kids on Wednesday night and Tuesday night and Monday night, or, you know, you're going in separate directions with your husband and just having like a plan. But that's also the whole thing is like you're you're tired after the long week, and so then you eat takeout and you stay up late and you drink, and then that's definitely the last thing you want to do on Saturday when you
Right.
have sporting activities. When you get home, all you want to do is like take a nap during the baby's nap time. You don't want to, you know, go to the grocery store while the baby's napping or meal prep while the baby's napping. And that's like a huge realization that, you know, as I have created this challenge and as people have gone through this challenge, it's like nap time looks so different for me now.
Yeah.
I'm not hating on you if like you want to take a nap during your kids' nap time. Sometimes like I need to lay down too during that time, but it's like I create that space to
The
do that.
margin. Right.
It's
It's
the margin.
it's proactive, not reactive.
And it's like setting boundaries like, yeah, our kids aren't going to be in 4 activities a piece like when you have 4
Yeah.
kids because that is not putting like us first. That is not putting our marriage first, our relationship, our ourselves first, because then we are overwhelmed, then we are overextended, then nobody's really happy. And like, for what?
Right. Well,
That's
and that oh gosh, I forgot what the stat was. I need to look it up. But I think it was something about kids who ate dinner around the table like 4 nights a week. Have you seen that? I don't know. I've got to look it up.
yeah,
What percentage like they were in less trouble? Just all different things.
yeah,
Like I'm not saying you have to have a meal every single night,
yeah,
but I was like, "Oh my gosh, I remember the feeling of like both my brothers played baseball. Now they did both play in college, so it worked out for them.
yeah,
But like practice to here to there, and like my parents were like how y'all are, where like your kid picks a sport, and so that at least solidified
yeah,
less craziness. But
yeah,
yeah, when I see all, people running to all these different fields and this and that, I'm like, I don't, I have angst for them and
yeah,
it's not my life, and
yeah.
so I think that's the other thing too, is you help people identify like, what does your, like, it's almost like looking at like the
It's
legacy you
you
want
know,
to
it's
leave.
in the awareness. People aren't even
Yeah.
aware of it. But the thing is like we do all sit in the kitchen at the normally like we have 4 bar seats and like some
Yeah.
my husband are like standing while we're eating, but we're all in there together eating a meal most nights. Like it might be a 20-minute, 15-minute meal.
Yeah.
It's crazy how much that's become our norm. And then just like some of our friends like that maybe we'll be on the same team and like we're gonna do a carpool situation, like, oh hey, like my husband's going to be dropping this kid off or at this kid's practice and can you bring Camden home because like I might be at home with the baby, and if they have practice till like 7 or 8 o'clock or something, and they'll say something like, oh yeah, we're probably going to run and get something to eat after practice with the kids if that's okay if Cam comes with us, and I'm like, yeah, that's fine. And I'm just thinking in my head like, wow, y'all go eat at a restaurant like at 8 p.m.
Yeah.
at night, like after practice, like that's what people do like
Yeah.
regularly daily, and that's so bizarre to me, like, that people do
Yeah.
that
Like
because
now, because
yeah,
you've changed the culture of your family.
we do not we, like, literally eat out maybe 1 time on a weeknight, like, every 3 or 4 weeks. Like,
Yeah.
that's literally it, like, and if we're eating out, it's like we picked up Chipotle. Like, it's
Well,
not
and like it's
going to a
not
restaurant.
yeah, and
Yeah.
it's not like they're being deprived of good meals either. Like you're cooking yummy food. It's not
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it's like, "Oh, chicken and broccoli again. Here we go,"
No, it's like no, we ate red beans and rice. We're Louisiana people. We ate red beans and rice last night. We'll have gumbo. We'll have,
Yeah.
whatever, like all different kinds of things. And it's like, really, that's how my kids are learning how you
Yeah.
should eat and what a family should look like and what dinner time should look like and can look like for them.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't even realize how unusual that situation is
Yeah.
until I see like what other people do that have
Mm,
multiple kids in sports. And I'm like, but it's not me judging them for doing that. It's literally, they have no idea that there's other options.
yeah. Like
Like if you
there's
planned a little bit, you could eat at like 4:45 or 5:30 before you'll have to leave at 6 for activities. And then, some nights there are earlier nights where maybe there's a baseball game at 5 and you're not getting home till 7. And on those nights, we have dinner ready so we can pop it in the oven at 7. And while they're all showering, we stick it in the oven. And then right
yeah.
when they get out of the shower, they eat and like they're in bed by 8. It just takes a little bit of planning, but people don't even realize that that is like available to them. They're
Yeah.
just like, oh, my life's so busy. I just have to eat at the ballpark. It's just blah, blah, blah. And you're like, no, you don't.
That's what I got coached once, and it really did kind of change some of my thoughts on this. And it actually was with Macy. And I said, I feel like, gosh, this was almost a year ago. I said, I feel like when I eat and it is not what I intended to eat, I'm having an out of body experience. And it's like the ghost of Christmas past is like in the corner of the room watching, like he does in the movie. And I said, and it's like, I didn't even realize I got here because I haven't paused to register it.
Oh, it's
And so
unconscious.
it,
100%.
and it took that and the conversation and pondering to now be like so present. And sometimes I'm still not because it's a learning experience, but it is wild to me, like how much like I have lived life on autopilot, and a lot, I would say 80% of the population is,
Yeah. When
because
the
it's crazy.
you can't even be present or be aware if you don't create margin in your life. And
Yes.
that is what all these overwhelmed victim mentality, mom, busy life complainer people, which I
Yes.
used to be one, like this is not me hating, like I used to be that.
Yeah.
I was so overscheduled, so overwhelmed, traveling every weekend, had my kids in 3 activities a piece. I was that mom, and it's like I couldn't even like be aware because I had no margin in my day. I had no margin in my week. And
Yeah.
I thought that was the only life available to me because I was like, well, you chose to have 4 kids, so this is just your life. But like
Yeah.
it's not. Like that's not the only option. I recorded a YouTube video like right before we got on this call, and one of the things I was talking about was that unconscious eating that you do. It's like where, I was listening to a podcast. They used this example. This isn't the example I used, but their example was maybe better than mine. And they were talking about like when you walk in the door from work and you're like on the
Mm.
phone talking to someone, and you like walk in the kitchen and you like grab a bag of chips and you pop open a beer and you start eating. It's like you didn't consciously make that decision. You're
Yeah.
talking to someone on the phone. It's out of habit. And it's
Yeah.
like you even had a time to like pause, be aware of like the thought process that's going behind like why do you need a beer and a snack when you walk in the, it's like you don't even
It's
realize it,
crazy.
or when you're at
Yeah.
a party and you're the food table's right here next to you and you're talking to your friend and you're just like eating chips and dip like while you're talking to them, like you're not consciously making a decision to do that.
No, and my mom and I have this phrase, if you ever want to use it, we will see each other if we like get in a moment like that, and like I'll be like, I just want to save you from yourself right now. Do you know that
Yeah,
this is happening? And or she'll say it. And so the other night I got like those Gardettos, like the like
I
Chex
saw
Mix,
your story.
and so I'm like in bed eating Gardettos. I have my AirPods. I have Southern Living. I'm like living the freaking dream in the midst of like crazy launch season. And Brad goes, "Do you know what you're doing right now?" And I said, "Is it the chewing or is it the crunching of the bag?" Like I didn't know. And he goes, "No." He's because I was like, "I'm annoying you." He's like, "You're like autopilot, like going to town on this bag of snacks." I'm like, "Brad, I need you to say what my mom says." And I say to her, I said, "Just say like, I need to save you from yourself." And I do it with to him with other food he likes. That it's like you can enjoy what you want to enjoy, but like at least be conscious.
Be conscious
Yeah.
of it. Like, and that's what I tell my clients. It's like, it's not about, I was working with a client last week. So I do mindset mentoring. This is like a new offer that
Awesome.
I've started in the last like 2 months. And it's more high touch, like one-on-one Voxer access to me. Like we talk pretty much daily. And one of my clients is really working through some like mindset things with food.
Mm.
And so she was going to like her mother-in-law's house on Friday, and she was like, I'm really worried about going there because like food is like her love language, and she always has lots of food and snacks and all the things, and I'm just worried I'm not going to make good choices there. And so I was talking to her about it, and I was like, she was like, it's just hard. Like she'll have healthy options. Like there will be an apple, but like it's hard to choose the apple when there's a piece of chocolate sitting next to me, like on the table, because she'll have like a little candy bowl of chocolate.
Ooh, yeah.
So I was like, it's not about like not eating the chocolate. It's about like, can you pause long enough to make a choice? Like
Yeah.
candy or apple. And like, if I eat this apple, how will it make me feel? If I eat this chocolate, how will it make me feel? If I don't eat this chocolate, how will it make me feel? If I don't eat the apple, like it's like just
Yeah.
like ask yourself those questions. I was listening to a podcast recently. It was Mari Llewellyn, her Pursuit of Wellness podcast.
Okay.
He had Saldi DeStefano on it, who's the Mind Pump Media guy. He's like amazing. They're both like fitness
Wow.
people, but he was like talking about just like how he would tell his clients to, before you make a food choice, to like sit down and journal about it, like before you
Mm.
eat the food, and like journal like, how is it going to make you feel if you eat this, or how is it? And it's like just the pause will
Right.
literally change your life. Like being
Oh, yes. And like translate that to everything. Like I feel like
everything.
bad decisions that are made, and like if you pause and you're like, no, I really want that, like good, go, like
Have
do
it, track.
whatever.
And that's the cool thing about like what I teach in like the nutrition, that program is I teach you how to like track your macros, make sure you're hitting a protein goal. And
Yeah.
a lot of times, like when you're hitting the protein goal and you are eating enough on a daily basis, like you definitely want those kind of things way less.
Yeah, you're satiated with the
Yeah,
protein.
you're satisfied. You're like, I'm not as snacky. Like I really am not a person that snacks like ever, because I eat really solid meals 3 times
Meals.
a day. And so I'm just not really snacking in between meals. If I am feeling snacky in between meals, usually I can very much identify what the
Yeah.
culprit is. And it's also like, okay, should I just like fix myself another meal, or do I just want to eat this snack and track it? And like sometimes it goes one way and sometimes it goes the
Yeah.
other. It's not about shaming yourself, but it's like when you have that knowledge around food, and how your body works and how your body metabolizes food, it really, it's like it's like a game changer.
Well, and it takes the emotions out of it. Like I've had conversations with clients recently where I've like made this new sales tracking doc, and we, depending on the client and where they're at, if they don't have it yet, and I'm like, let's take the drama out of the numbers.
Yes.
It just it's just a thing. And it's like it is what it is, and like data helps you make informed decisions,
Oh my
whether
gosh,
it's
Jordan, this is amazing, because it's the same thing with tracking macros.
yes,
People give their power to tracking macros. And I'm like,
yeah,
it's a tool. It's just like a tool. So we have data so we can
are
make
you
changes
get
in the body.
right.
Not a big deal. Like it doesn't really take that long. You think it does in your head. You have so much drama about it in your head. I'm going to use that.
Yeah, it's so true. It's like it just the data, you just look at it and you go, "Oh, okay."
Oh, yeah.
And so like that's how in my journey now I've taken the power really away from the scale, because I'm looking at a long-term goal, a number I want, not, the weeks add up to months to years, and I've seen
Yeah.
that go both ways, but it really is like, am I heading in the direction? Okay, good. Let's move.
Yeah.
It was funny. Last week I was weighing in, and my nurse practitioner, I was meeting with her. She was like, oh, you're up 0.7. She's like, it's from fat. Like, it's okay. We can just, you'll get right back on track or whatever. And I left, and I was like so pissed. And Brad's like, what? Chill out. What's wrong? What's wrong? And I'm like, Brad, I am down 48 pounds. I am 2 pounds away from 50, which was my first like big goal. And so I'm like, to focus on being up 0.7 from fat. And he's like, but she doesn't know your big picture. She was just filling in. And I'm like, you're right. Like it made me zoom out and be like, this is the long term. Like this is, how do I want to live from 33 to 93, not 33 to 34. And
34.
so
Yeah.
yeah, it's just so wild, because I don't think people, when you've been lived on autopilot for that long, it's like, I think there's obviously a bunch of lessons on this podcast, but like really the reminder of like, you have to pause to get out of autopilot mode to
Yeah.
then restart life how you want it on your own
Yeah.
terms. And I'm excited for people to get into the show notes and look at when your next challenge is and get in, because it really does start with like taking a weekend And before we go to the fun part, I have two other questions for you too. But taking the weekend to make the life you want to have. And so a question for you here is like, have you noticed like when you say no to things, like was that hard at first or now you're getting more used to it?
This is such a good question.
Yeah.
So yes, it was hard at first. I'm kind of one of those people that gets FOMO. Like I have fear of missing out. Like I'm like, what am I going to miss? But it was like, I remember somebody told me one time, like FOMO is not a big enough reason. Not, it was my therapist said
Ooh,
FOMO is not a big enough reason to like do that. I remember exactly what the thing was. It was some friends of ours were going to
dang,
this
that's good.
resort like a few hours from where we live for like a little short like 3-day weekend thing, and they invited us super last minute. They invited us like 2 days before they were going, and it's like the water slides for the kids and all the things, but we have an well, at the time he was probably 1. We had like a 12-month-old, and that is like the hardest age ever. It's like they
Mhm.
just they don't stop moving. They don't understand how to sit still. He couldn't walk yet. It was a lot. And I am so big into like boundaries and making sure that my weekends look really like calm and like time to de-stress. Of course, there's going to be weekends when we travel, but I want to have like advance notice so I can really plan that
Yeah.
out and know like how I want to feel and all of that. And so like I messaged my therapist and I was like, okay, like we got invited to this thing and like I really want to go. If we don't go, I'm gonna have FOMO. And she was like, FOMO is not a big enough reason for you to like compromise like your boundaries, like and your standards, because like I have set standards for like how I want my life to look. And she was like, if you go, like what's gonna happen? And I was like, I already know what's gonna happen. Like we're gonna both be stressed out. Like we're gonna all 4 kids sleeping in this one hotel room. The baby's gonna be crying the whole time. It's gonna be really hard.
Terrible. Yeah.
I was like, but I'm like gonna be able to be there like with the girls. And like it was
It's
just it
no,
was
and
it was hard, but it's gotten a lot easier. And I remember when we first moved to Texas, especially because we didn't have any friends,
yeah.
I would feel like so lonely on Friday nights and I would literally feel like a loser. I was like, I wish
Mm.
we were losers. Like we don't have any plans on Friday night. And now if like somebody asked me to do something, I'm like, we're busy. I can't. I have to take my bath and I have to do my castor oil pack and I have to
Yes.
all of my things on Friday night. And I'm like, I will not compromise that for like a fun night. Like occasionally I do, of course, like I spend time with my friends, but it's just crazy how different things are now where it's like I used to be like, if we did not have weekend plans, like I felt like such a loser. I kind of felt like depressed almost like on the weekends
Yeah.
have stuff going on. And now it's literally like what I covet the most, like a
Yeah.
quiet weekend with nothing on the calendar.
You time I mean, I believe time is our greatest asset and how you use it is it can make or break your life, right? I mean, not to be dramatic, but it's true. Time is money. I believe that too. And
Yeah.
so, no, it's cool to hear the encouragement too of like making the baby steps and realizing like put it through the lens too of like, am I going just because I don't have FOMO? I don't think that's reason enough to go then,
Yeah.
And like, I always joke like when someone texts me and they're like, hey, can we move our meeting? Or hey, I have to miss today or whatever. I'm like, I do not mind canceled plans. Like,
Yeah.
obviously, it like, if a friend did it enough, my feelings would get hurt. I might ask, like, did I do something right? But like, if someone gives me 30 minutes back to my day, I'm like, yes. So I'm the same, I feel the burn right now. I know that we're in this season where we're a little overcommitted, friends getting married, having babies. So like it just kind of is the season. And I'm like, what can we do to make this feel even better?
Yeah. How
And the lens.
that's always how can you support
Yeah.
yourself?
So one last question before we switch to the fun part. How do you feel like women are leaving money on the table as it relates to weekends, health, movement, food, etc.? How do you see that and what's a way women can stop leaving money on the table?
Okay, so this is a really good question. I know that a lot of people that are listening to this are probably entrepreneurs, people in the business world, because that's what your thing is, right? You do
Yeah.
paid ads, and so a lot of entrepreneurs listening, you are leaving money on the table if you are not taking care of your health first.
Mm,
Like health is wealth, like times a million.
yeah.
I've seen it in my own life. I think from the time that I decided to get healthy to now, my revenue has increased like, well, last time I checked, it was like 14 times and probably like 20 times now. Um,
Crazy.
the clarity you have, the creativity you have to like think of new ways to create revenue streams, and the time and the clarity you have, that's like, oh, I can get so much more work done in like 4 hours instead of 8 hours, and like you're not procrastinating because you feel really good and you have energy when you wake up, and it's just being healthy.
Yeah.
Literally, like you make more money. And like, Jordan, I know you could say this 100% because losing almost 50 pounds, I guarantee you've seen an
Oh,
increase in your revenue.
yes, I don't have to go take a nap from 1 to 3 because I had a poke bowl with so much rice that like puts me literally, I was like putting myself to sleep every day
Yeah.
because I was like over carbing myself and I'm uh insulin resistant, right? So it's like, yes, 100%. I'm like,
Health is wealth. If you are not taking care of yourself as a business owner, if you are not investing money literally in the right workout plan, the right nutrition, the right food, the mental health, like this is mental health too, not just like physical health, but mental
yeah,
health, nervous system regulation, all of the things like breath work, meditation, all of it. If you are not putting money into that, you're leaving money in your business on the
yeah,
table.
on the table. No, I love it. That's such good advice. And so, what are some things? It's a clicks and giggles podcast. I know you love taking your bath, getting relaxing with a good book. What are some things that make you giggle, make you just kind of refresh to then get back at it, work, momming, wife
Yeah.
life?
Well, travel is something that's really important to us. It's a huge
Mm,
value for our family. So, whenever we talk about like revenue goals and like goals for income for our
mm,
family and stuff, we're always planning like the next trip, like where we want to go.
mm.
So I would say travel for sure. I love to read. Ellen Hilderbrand is a
Okay,
fiction author that I love to read, and a lot of her books are based in Nantucket.
tuck
So like
it.
we actually went to Nantucket this fall,
Fun,
which was just like pure joy. Like me and my husband went ourselves, and now we want to bring our kids back. So
sweet.
I definitely love to read fiction. I love to listen to live music. I love to
Ooh,
um yeah, travel is like probably my
number
number
one.
one. I'm always like planning our next trip.
Yeah.
Like, when can we go next? I think right now we're trying to go to Sea Island in March.
Ooh.
That's our hopeful spring break plans right now. We just kind of started looking at it this past weekend. So yeah.
It's gonna be so good. Well,
Yeah.
and because you live your life in a way that you enjoy your downtime, you enjoy your home, then you can get away, but you also are probably excited when you're back too. You're like, all right, we're back in the groove. No,
Yes.
this is so good. I want anyone who's listening, if this has resonated with you, if you realize, wait, I am living my life on autopilot and this is not it, I have good news for you. Click in the show notes. Emily hosts her Weekenders Challenge. Get a spot, learn how you can work with her more. And thanks for being on here today. I'm so, so thankful to have you and know you as a friend in my life and just for you to get to pour into others. And I'm excited for all the women you're going to help this year and beyond. It's going to be good.
Thank you, Jordan, so much. This is
Yay!